Indiana is a weird state. It has lots of construction and lots of weird city names. City names that you'll never find anywhere else. We'll be going over an example of many of these city names. The first city, well, if you haven't been to Indiana, you'll know there'll be cities named Lafayette, Indianapolis, Greenwood, Columbus, and Bloomington. These are the biggest cities, and of course, one of the biggest cities is Fort Wayne. I guess Batman must have named this city. Also to the north, there is a city named Angola, which is exactly the same name as the country. There are lots of cities in this country that, in Indiana that are named after countries, such as Mexico, Peru, and even Brazil. There's also Palestine as well. If you recognize Palestine as a country, yes, you can go to Palestine in Indiana. It's pretty weird, but it exists. You can see here, there's also both Mexico and Peru. What are both Mexico and Peru doing in Indiana? Oh yeah, and also Fortnite is back. I'll talk about that game on Sunday. But if you look at Peru, Indiana, you'll be weirded out by this city already. It has around 41,000 people. It's also in Miami County, which is the name of a city in Florida. It has over 500,000 people. It's even weirder if you look at the demographics. You'll think that Peru, Indiana will be similar, will have a lot of people from Peru, but for some reason it doesn't. The next weird city is Brazil. If you look over here, you'll find that there is a city called Brazil somewhere in here. There is also a city named Brazil. And the funny thing is, the country, a picture of Rio de Janeiro shows up, even though this is a city in Indiana. Now let's stop talking about country names. There's also a city named Poland. So if you want to go to Poland and say you went to Poland, you could say you went to Poland as well. There's also Jordan, but it's also a name of many people as well. So that one gets a pass. Next, we're down here. And there is a city literally called Starlight. That is a name of a. And there's also a city called Speed. I guess the speed limit is much higher in this city than every other city. Also, at the border, near the city of Louisville, that's where the city of Speed is. So yes, if you're going through Louisville and taking this highway, you may have passed the very important city called Speed. Next is a city called Kirby. Yes, Kirby has its own city, but not Pikachu for some reason. For some reason, there's also New Palestine and Philadelphia as well. So there's an old Palestine and a new Palestine. This is already confusing already. Also on the border of Indiana to Ohio is a city called Bath. There's also a city in England called Bath. English people made up really weird city names. There's also a city called Shoptown. I guess there's a lot of sharp objects in here. There's also a city named Whitley, Kyle, and Delaware. I didn't know there was the state of Delaware in Ohio. There was also a city named after Napoleon. If we go here, there was also a city named Cleveland. So there are more than one Clevelands. There was Cleveland, Ohio. There was Cleveland, Georgia, and there was Cleveland, Indiana. There is a city literally called Farmland. Yes, Farmland is a little city in Indiana. Here we have a city called Veracruz. I believe that's also a city in South America. No, not South America. It's in Mexico. I was getting confused with Caracas, Venezuela. But there is one part of the country we haven't explored yet. The top. So by the city of Gary, which is a city that no one wants to go to. We have a city really named Black Oak. Yes. I guess someone was running out of names to name cities, and he couldn't use anything else. So he must have named the city Black Oak, because they saw a tree that was black, a black oak. There's also two cities named Chicago, East Chicago and New Chicago. I guess New Chicago tried to be Chicago, but it completely failed. Also, up here on the border with Michigan, we have a city named Michigan City. Shouldn't that be in Michigan? It is, but here's the thing: it does border Lake Michigan, which is a lake that all four states border: Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Michigan. All four of these states border Lake Michigan, so it actually kind of makes sense. I guess there's also a city called Fish Lake. I guess they must have found a lot of fish in that lake. There's also Berlin, but it's misspelled. So, now we have to go to this side of Indiana, as we really haven't gone over here yet. If we go near Lafayette, which is a major city of port, you have Attica, West Lebanon, and Lebanon. So there's West Lebanon, west of Lebanon. There's also Garfield. I guess a lot of Garfield movies but sell now. Also by the city of Brazil, we have a city named Clay City, and Coal City, and Freedom. We also have a city literally named Hall. We have a city named Wheatland. Idaho is known for the farms, so this is completely expected. There's also a city named Cusco, which is also a city that was originally an Inca city, but for some reason is doing very all the way far out in Indiana. There's also a city really named Inglis as well. Santa Claus also has his own city in Indiana. And that's it for Indiana. There is a lot of weird cities in Indiana. There is a city named after Santa Claus, Poland, and there's also a city really named just Hall, and a city named Fish Lake, and there's also a city named Hope down here. There's also a city named Moscow as well. So I guess the only other place in the so I guess the only other place to have a city named Moscow outside of Indiana